Now, throughout the stock market, there's definitely different dividend-paying stocks and ETFs that have garnered a lot of hype over the years and are overly popular for whatever reason. And although some of these different popular stocks or ETFs are most definitely worth looking into, if not buying into, there's also a handful of these super popular dividend-paying stocks that I personally am not the biggest fan of. Now in this video, we're going to go through 5 different popular dividend-paying stocks and or ETFs that I think are 100% overhyped, and without a doubt, some of you are definitely going to agree with me. So if you want to see all 5 names and see exactly what I'm talking about here, make sure to stick around, drop a like down below, and let's get right into the first one. Real quick, for those that haven't already, make sure to go to the first link in my description and grab my new dividend investing ebook, where I share exactly how I went from $0 invested to now earning over $6,000 on a monthly basis and over $1 million invested in the markets. Along with the ebook, you're also going to receive my custom dividend tracker, where you can track your dividend progress on an ongoing basis and reach your dividend investing goals. So make sure to grab yourself a copy of my dividend investing ebook and the new dividend tracker today. It's the first link in my description. So the first dividend paying stock that is very popular throughout the dividend investing community, that I think most of us at least have a few shares of in our portfolio as of right now, is ticker symbol MO or Altria Group. Now I even personally have a few hundred shares of Altria Group across my various portfolios as of right now, which I bought a few years back, but I haven't grabbed any more Altria in a while. Now, just as a side note, I'm not saying that the 5 names we're going through in this video are absolutely horrible, or saying to buy them or not to buy them, etc. I'm just saying these names, in my opinion, are definitely overhyped. Now, one of the main reasons I'm not the biggest fan of Altria is because it really gives off a textbook dividend trap, considering the stock is down 26.8%, and at the same time, it offers almost a 10% forward yield. Now, what's interesting about Altria Group is that if you zoom out on the max time frame, this stock is actually up significantly, up over 755% on the max time frame. So for maybe some of the older dividend growth investors out there that invest into Altria Group, let's say prior to 2010, they're definitely up significantly on their shares, along with getting paid dividends throughout the years. Now, one of the main reasons I think Altria Group is overhyped is for the fact that I don't really see this stock growing significantly in the next 10 years or so, just because of the industry that it's in. And although Altria has paid a dividend for several years, even decades at this point, and even raised their dividend consistently, I still think there's way better options throughout the markets that have more potential to grow and a little bit more dividend safety. The next dividend paying stock that I think is severely overhyped and used to at least be extremely popular is ticker symbol T or AT&T. Now AT&T has been a dumpster fire over the past 5 or so years, and luckily for myself, I bought some shares of AT&T back in 2018 and actually sold out of my shares I think maybe a year or so after, and I think more or less I broke even on my shares luckily, because since then AT&T has been trending down significantly. Now, AT&T personally for me is not a stock that I would even touch at this point, not only because I already own a ton of Verizon stock, which we'll talk about that in a different video, but the fact that telecommunications is just not an area that I want to be heavily invested in moving forward, and the fact that AT&T, even after several decades, chopped their dividends significantly, and this was back a few years ago. AT&T is another one of those stocks that I guess if you got in at the right time, it might not be the worst holding of all time. But I do think that a lot of dividend investors could spend their money much smarter than buying any more shares of T. The next single dividend paying stock that I think is overhyped, side note here, I don't hate this stock by any means, but I do think it's a little bit overhyped, is Johnson & Johnson or ticker symbol J&J. Now several years ago, I had J&J in my portfolio and I realized that J&J pretty much traded sideways, and not only that, J&J does not pay that massive of a dividend off top. Now I'm not saying by any means that Johnson & Johnson is a horrible investment for a long-term dividend growth portfolio. I mean, in the last 5 years, the stock is up 45% plus dividends and dividend growth. But with a stock that yields only 3.4% starting, and like I said, over the last 10 years hasn't had that much price appreciation, I just definitely think there's better stocks out there, and I definitely think Johnson & Johnson is a little bit overhyped. The next popular single stock that I also think is a little bit overhyped, and a side note, I also do own this one in my portfolio, I think I have 100 or so shares, is ticker symbol KO or Coca-Cola. Now, when it comes to this stock, it's very similar to my thought process on Johnson & Johnson. It's sort of a stock that trades more or less sideways up a little bit over time, but along with that doesn't really pay all that massive of a starting yield. Now, for my investment strategy, I want to either invest into stocks or ETFs that offer, say, north of 6, 7, 8, 9, 10% starting yield, along with the potential for some dividend growth, or I want to invest in something that has the potential to double in 10 years. Now, once again, I'm not saying that this is a horrible investment. I'm just saying it might be a little bit overhyped. I do own shares of Coke in my portfolio. But for a dividend stock that so many of us have in our portfolio, I just think once again, money could be better spent in other names potentially. The last dividend payer that I think is substantially overhyped, and side note, I own tons of shares of this one. So this one's definitely going to hit close to home, is ticker symbol JEPI, or the JP Morgan Equity Premium Income ETF, JEPI. Now JEPI's been in my portfolio for several years now. Like I said, I own well over 1,000 shares across all my portfolios, so by no means am I saying I hate this ETF, etc, etc. But over time, I think a lot of us more dividend-focused, income-focused investors have realized that there's plenty of other different income style, cover call style ETFs, just like JEPI, that sort of offer similar attributes, but only do it in a better way. And with JEPI's strategy and performance, at least in the max time frame, this ETF, although has not performed horribly, there's definitely better cover call income style focus ETFs out there, in my opinion. Now, you might be asking me which ETFs am I talking about? For starters, JEPQ, or even something like SPYI. And although I don't think that JEPI is horrible by any means, I do think it's a little bit overhyped, especially if you're an investor that's trying to seek income generation. I think there's better ETFs out there that have very similar strategies. So there we have it, guys. Those are 5 different dividend-paying stocks and or ETFs that I think are a little bit overhyped. By no means do I think that they're horrible, but I don't necessarily think they offer as much opportunity as some investors might say they do. Now, like I said earlier, throughout my portfolio, I do own several of the names we went through in this video. And by no means are the stocks and ETFs we went through in this video the worst things across the market. But now lastly, I want to hear from you guys down below. What is the most overhyped stock or ETF when it comes to dividend investing? Drop the ticker symbol in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to please drop a like on it and subscribe for more future content like this. Thanks as always for stopping by, and if you are interested in investing, make sure to check out these recent videos I posted right here.